Alright everybody, Doug Lane here, Fast Lane Car Care. Today, on this version of Tool Talk Tuesday, we're going to talk about tint kegs. Are they right for you? And some of the things you can do with them. I got this here box from sundistributingdirect.com. And I haven't even opened it yet, as you can obviously see. I only remembered ordering the ATR. This stuff is amazing if you're going to be removing window tint. And I was like, man, they ship, that's a big box for just that, the ATR. And then I looked at the packing slip or whatever and realized that I bought a new one of these soak ropes. My old one is riding around in a truck somewhere. And I also bought a dual sprayer, conversion kit for the 3-gallon keg, because I obviously have a 3-gallon keg. And to go along with it, I got a second hose. It's the exact same as my other one, which is exactly what I wanted. It even comes with another one of these things, so I can strap up both my hoses in the event that I need to. Man, I just can't say enough good stuff about Sun Distributing. I know a lot of people think that because I switched to GeoShield, you know, I got something against Sun or Helios. I don't, man. I actually still love the film. Especially their dyed stuff. It just really was a situation where for the carbon and ceramic, it made more sense just to switch to GeoShield. In my opinion, the adhesive is more similar between all their lines, so just from a business point of view, it just made more sense to switch to that for me. If I was only selling one type of film, say, you know, just selling dyed or just selling color stable or whatever, I would have stuck with that. Don't know what tools we're gonna need, but anyway, we're gonna I'm pretty sure it's not a 19mm. I know I've had this apart before, like a 17 maybe. Watch it be like 18, but we're going to talk about, there we go. We're going to talk about kegs while we install this kit. So, I went about 4 years running sprayers. The various Zep bottles, I've had just about every Zep bottle you can think of. I've had some other high-end spray bottles, and they just, in my opinion, they suck. Like, yeah, you'll get some of them that are awesome, but then it seems like for everyone that's awesome, you have to buy like 7 or 8 crappy ones in order to get the one good one. And it doesn't matter, like, you could buy 5 different Zep bottles and get one out of those 5 that don't even spray right out of the box. It doesn't work. The quality control sucks. So, I've never installed one of these. I've never watched a video on how to install them. We're just shooting from the hip here. I feel like that pickup tube is a little bit too bent, but that's okay. Not super worried about it. But it looks like it's a pretty straightforward process, guys. It looks like we took the one ball lock off, or whatever you call these things. I don't know. I'm not an expert. And it seems the little piece that we just had up here. So, I mean, I would imagine if you've got your, I'm going to call this a standpipe. This is just, you can blow in air or whatever if you want to use a not air compressor. They make a kit or whatever, so you can fill your tank with just this. Obviously, this spring shoves this closed, so bada bing, bada boom. This should do it. All right, right? Makes sense. Seems reasonable. Biggest thing is we're going to want to put this in correctly. because I know you're not going to be able to see it because it's all soapy, but down at the very bottom of this keg, there's a little spot about like that big around, and it's like a divot. And then in theory, these will touch. See how I just had to move that? I bet you it was hitting my, I have a measuring cup down there. So it's not going to sit perfectly flush, because obviously you need some pressure to shoot up on this deal. And we're just going to kind of bloop. Shouldn't be any need to thread tape this, because it's O-ringed. There we go, we got it started. So anyway, I went for years just running spray bottles, because I was, well, for, you know, when I first started, I didn't even know what a keg was. And then I started seeing them more and more, and then I started looking at the prices and thought, oh my gosh, that's really expensive. But honestly, you know, I don't know how much a Poly 2 pump-up sprayer is right now, but at $25, I think is what I used to pay for one. You know, you go through 2 of those a year, that's $50. If you're going to be tinting for a while, you're going to go through multiple ones. I mean, these Zep bottles are about $4 a piece. I've been through dozens of them. So, I mean, really, if you do the math on all of the spray bottles and stuff that you throw away, you know, I don't really think that you're benefiting yourself by sticking with that instead of getting one of these kegs. So the nice thing about kegs, let's go ahead and throw some air in it while we're chatting, but it doesn't matter who builds the keg. In a sense, they're gonna last a long time. I mean, it's steel or aluminum or whatever it is. It's not plastic. You know, with these, problem I used to have, you know, I'd hang them on a pocket or hang them on a pouch or apron, and I'd go to climb up in a car, and then bonk, and then you get a crack in it. I had a couple of Poly 2s do that, where they had just a little fine crack, and so then when you pump it up, it starts spraying water out the side of it, but then once it was under a certain amount of pressure, it wouldn't leak a drop. So these are really, they're an investment, guys. If you're serious about your business, you're serious about tinting, there's really no reason not to have one. And nobody's paid me to say that. That's just my opinion. I'm not sponsored by anybody. The only thing anybody ever sent me was a hoodie and some stickers. And I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars with said company. So, not like they're buying me over, or buying me off, I should say, with a hoodie. Dude. Wow, I've never had problems with this before. So anyway, I'm not sure if you can tell, I run an air compressor in my other garage. I have it hard lined over to here, to this 50-foot hose reel. Right there, you just saw me, I put like 90 pounds in it or something like that. Do you have to run that much? No, you don't. You can run really anything you want, up to, I think these ones are like at 130. Yeah, 130 PSI. Sun Distributing changes all these O-rings to withstand the pressure that, you know, we run. Otherwise, these will pop at like 100 PSI. Is there anything wrong with that? No, I almost never go over 100, but... So I got that one. And then obviously this one is basically the exact same. Before we go taking it or hooking it up, let's just talk about the inline filter. I already have the inline filter on that one. I really like it because you can see down in here. See if there's anything in it. It looks like there's something in it right now. That's just, oh, that's weird. Just something just in the plastic, like the way they molded it or something. But this bad boy goes in here. And the way it works is your water comes in, it comes through, hopefully you can see this, it goes through, drops down in the middle. So anything that's gonna get in your work is gonna have to go through the middle and then push through this film or through this screen and then out the bowl and then up the other side. So really super slick. And then I know I just sat here and adjusted this one, but dang it anyway. There we go. All these standard, at least from Sun. I don't know about other ones. They already have a 200 micron filter in it, in the brass sprayer. Hopefully you guys can see that. 200 micron mesh filter in the tip. So this one is just auxiliary. And here's kind of my method of thinking on this. I don't clean this keg, guys. If I'm gonna go out of town or something for a week, then I'll like spray it down, like really thoroughly clean it. I run dish soap. I've ran all type. I've ran some other stuff too, but I don't know. Like I just don't have any issues with trash coming from my water source. I run just straight up tap water out of the sink. But my thing is, I mean, you saw that's not really hard to do, but it does take a little bit of time. You have to get the correct size wrench. I mean, I don't know. I just use a crescent wrench because it's faster. I don't know what size it is offhand. But then here's the other thing I like about it. Swivels. You know, it's already got a swivel on it. Let's say, you know, not all companies are like this. We will need to check these for leaks. But not all companies are like this. So, you know, they use these like basic hose clamps. And they do that for really smart reason. Rick and the guys at Sun Distributing are tinters, or have been tinters, or however you want to word it. So they understand, you know, what problems we face. And here's how you just hook this up. You can see this. You just kind of lift it up, so it's kind of on there, but it's not locked down. A little bit tight since that's the first time she's been locked on. But so let's say something happens. This is a compression style fitting right here on the end of the swivel. So let's say something happens, you burn it with your heat gun, or it gets ran over, or somehow gets sliced right here. No big deal. Cut it, take your fitting off, move it down. Same way with this. If something happens here, you can move it, and yeah, you might have to have a shorter hose, but the good news is at least you can still get the job done. You'd have to have a pretty catastrophic failure in order to, you know, take this thing completely out of service. And that kind of leads me to another, or like back to the reliability and durability versus spray bottles. Like, I can't tell you how many times I carried extras. So I carried extra spray bottles just because I knew that, you know, there's a pretty good chance they were going to break. And I did that backwards. So I've been in situations where my primary spray bottle broke, and I've had to use a different sprayer or a bottle or whatever in order to finish the job. So these kegs, man, I don't remember what I paid for this, but it was less than $400 for the 3-gallon and the one setup. Custom wrap, I could have got it cheaper if I wanted to do a basic wrap, but I was thinking about switching my logo to that, since all we do is window tint now. But there we go. Prime that air out of it. And now we've got 2 sprayers that are going to spray the same pattern. They're brass, so they're going to last pretty much forever. The plastic ones, I've been told, break really easily, and I'm not about that life. So the whole reason I bought this dual sprayer kit is for efficiency, saving time. So the keg usually sits somewhere around in this area, and in order for me to reach all the way around the vehicle, I either have to like go around and do the back window and then come around, or slide it under. The keg's gonna sit in the front somewhere, and I'm gonna have a sprayer on both sides, or a hose on both sides, or whatever. So it's gonna save me a lot of time for not having to slide it back and forth, and I don't have to worry about dragging a hose through the customer's car or underneath the car. And it's really not the best thing for these brass sprayers. I mean, they hold up. I mean, they're freaking tanks, but yeah, I just throw them down on the concrete and slide them under, and that worked out a lot better before I got these rugs to absorb the water. So then what sometimes happens is it hits the rug on the other side, and then you got to like kind of crawl underneath there and grab it. But dual sprayer setup, you saw how easy it was to put it in. Really cool thing, another thing about Sun Distributing, getting your keg from them, they have O-ring kits. They have every part that you need, this little burst disc, any part that you could need that could break, they've got it for you. You can call them or email them or get on the website or whatever and tell them, you know, hey, I got your keg, blah, blah, blah. I think you can actually just buy like a parts kit, which if they have those, I should probably get one just in case. But I've been running this for over a year, done something like somewhere around probably close to 400 cars with this keg, and we haven't had any issues at all with it. I haven't broke any. The only thing I ever had was this one fitting right here would leak slightly, and I'm talking like I would come in the next day and there would be like a little quarter-sized puddle. So I tore it apart, put some RTV silicone on it, put it back together, and it's been fine since. Not really a big deal. I probably could have just tightened it up, but these are plastic, so I don't want to go putting a bunch of pressure on them since they are plastic. I don't want to crack the housing. But I mean, other than that, like, you don't have to run these external filters, but these are a lot easier to clean than taking that apart. I feel like kind of ranting and raving now, just kind of getting off subject, but you know, I see like in the Facebook groups and stuff, people's opinions on kegs really are either love them or hate them. You know, I've had people comment on my videos and say that I need to use a sprayer, spray bottle for like the windows and use the bazooka for the back windows. I mean, they're great, in my opinion. Are you going to move a lot of water? Yeah. So you may have to tweak your style a little bit. Some people don't like tripping over the hoses. Honestly, after my first week of using it, I don't even really notice them. Like almost never. Just hook them on my tool pouch or whatever, and you're good to go. Now, sometimes you will get your heat gun cord and the hose tangled up if you're not careful, but it's kind of one of those things, pros versus cons. I'd rather deal with that than having a sprayer, because sprayers, you know, like I said, it climb up on a car and it falls off, or it comes unthreaded and now you've just lost a bunch of your slip solution. If you're in a shop, it's not really a huge deal. You can go get more, but if you're mobile and, you know, you only have enough to do whatever you needed to do, or you're somewhere where there's no water hookup, or, you know, it's just, it adds a lot of problems. When you've got 2 gallons, this is a 3-gallon capacity. I run it at 2 gallons ish, and then the rest is air. So I maintain a more consistent air pressure over time because the air volume's higher. You can run 3 gallons of water and then put some air in it, but your pressure is going to drop faster. Because let's say you have 3 gallons of water, you only have this much room for air. Well, if you have 2 gallons of water, now you've got this much room for air volume, if that makes sense. But you saw how I inflated it. It's just a regular tire valve. You can use a, you know, Milwaukee inflator. You can use an air compressor, one of those little cigarette lighter jump starter deals that have air compressors. Like, pretty much anything will work. And if you're really fancy, they have the kit you can put on the end of an air hose, and it'll fill them up through this. I feel like that's kind of unnecessary, but they make it. So I think that's pretty much all of our goodies, keg related. So yeah, I mean, you guys saw how easy it was to put in the dual conversion kit, and then, you know, we can keep this piece here. I'll tell you what we should do. Let's put it right here in this Ziploc bag, that the new pieces came in, and then we can just put this in a toolbox. We can put this in a drawer, maybe back there, just on the off chance that we might ever need it again. But that's pretty much it for Tool Talk Tuesday this week, guys. Love them or hate them, I'm a lover. I love my keg. I would never go back to using the spray bottles by choice. I mean, obviously, if something happened, somebody ran this over or something, like completely destroyed it, I'd run a spray bottle to finish out the day. But I guarantee you, before the day was over, I'd have another one of those ordered.